everybody. Welcome back to the Routine Podcast.
Gymnastics Conversations.
I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Chelsea's mom, Diana.
And we're back for episode 68.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It is Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday for us.
That's right. This is airing tomorrow.
Yeah. We're a little bit behind schedule.
Yeah, it just didn't go right.
There's a lot going on.
So we can start by saying we recorded last night at maybe 11.
No, it was like 8.
Oh, it just felt like 11.
Yeah.
And we knew we needed to record, and
it was New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, I had my New Year's hat on. I took off my 2020 glasses for the recording. So
you had your New Year's beads.
I had my beads on. It was really good.
It was a good first try.
And then Chelsea got upstairs, and I saw the look on her face.
I tried to export the audio.
Nothing there.
How many times has that happened to us?
Quite a bit. But you know what was good? And I didn't tell you this last night. But I saw your face when it happened. And of course, I'm trying to celebrate my New Year's Eve and not have you ruin my moment. But you handled it very well.
Yeah. I think I've realized that it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. That's a biggie.
And, I was still going to be here. If I had already left the house and I was back in my apartment, I don't know what I would have done, because then we would have been, really SOL.
Right, but do you remember how in the past you would react to something like that?
Yeah, I think because we've done it so many times, and we know that usually when we do it a second time, it's actually better.
It is usually better.
That it's okay.
Yeah, but from the mom standpoint, when I saw your face, and again, I'm trying to, hey, New Year's Eve, and you've got the look on your face, and this could be bad.
But also, for New Year's, my aunt's here, grandma's here, so it's just whatever, it's just audio.
Yeah, good.
There's, I gotta win this game that we're playing.
Yeah, just remember that.
Yeah, I just need grandma around all the time.
I was gonna say, normally you take it out on me.
Yeah, I couldn't do that today.
No.
Not in front of grandma.
And not on my day.
No.
So, long story short, we're back here in the basement again.
The day before the episode is airing.
On New Year's Day. And I guess there's a reason for us to be down here right now recording.
I guess. That's one way to look at it. But how was your New Year's? I mean, this was the holiday that you were looking forward to.
It was so good. And as Chelsea said, my mom's here and my sister's here. They flew from Florida and from Missouri. And this is the first time they celebrated New Year's Eve with us. This is
usually it's a closed door event.
It is. It's just us chickens that I invite to New Year's Eve.
If you get the invite, you're special. Don't take it for granted.
It's so funny because Mom said, "Hey, why don't I come up and be with you for New Year's Eve?" And I'm like, "Sure, Mom."
Did you pause a little bit?
No.
I can't say no to Mom.
No, but in my head, I'm like, okay, we're going to open this invitation to my mother. That makes complete sense. And then that made us have 5 people. Uh-huh. And then I actually called my sister and said,
wow,
I did.
I didn't know that.
I did. I called my sister and said, hey, why don't you come up as well? Because we try to do a lot of threesome stuff. For the listeners don't know, my father passed about this time last year. And so anytime we can get together as a family, it's really good.
Yeah.
Even if it's on my big special holiday.
I think that just means more.
I was going to say, and what we realized last night is having them with us was more fun and more special.
I think so, too.
That's, I think, part of why we're recording again. It's a different reflection we have this morning than we had last night.
Totally. So did your New Year's exceed your expectations?
It always does.
Really?
It always does. Here's the only thing that happened that kind of didn't exceed my expectations.
The music.
Right?
Oh my gosh. We usually always watch Ryan Seacrest, Dick Clark, CNN usually.
Pitbull.
But this
and the
year,
dancers.
there was no good music.
I don't know what happened.
What? And for you youngins. Mom, my aunt, and my grandma learned who Megan the Stallion is last night, and they are not on board. They don't really get it.
First of all, I think it's Megan the Stallion. And Chelsea's
The.
like, it's not the, Mom. I'm like, the and the are replaceable words.
No, not for Megan.
But no, that wasn't impressive at all. Anyway.
New Year's was great, and we all hope you had a good New Year's as well.
Happy New Year, everybody.
But I think we should talk a little bit about our episode last week, where we interviewed Christina Chauvenet about the code changes for this year. We also discussed our seniors that we are going to miss.
Yeah, and it was a great episode.
I totally agree with you.
And we really never know what the episode's going to come together like.
Yeah.
But this one came together really well, and we got so many comments.
That episode, fun fact, was recorded probably over 3 different days at least.
Right.
Yeah, so I agree. It was a really great episode. It was jam-packed with information. We actually got a tweet from our friend Dave Pendries, and he said, 1, you have to listen to this great podcast episode. You'll learn a bunch, which is very true. And 2, as for seniors, obviously going to give a specific shout-out to all those in the ECAC and Eagle Conference. Looking forward to seeing what you have cooked up for this year.
And I think that's a great comment because I still don't think we do enough coverage about the ECAC or the Eagle Conference.
But that's why we have our good friend Dave, because he definitely is very knowledgeable about this conference, and our friends over at College Gym News will hopefully help us with that. And then the last comment we got about seniors was from @QuadSalto, and they said, great list of seniors highlighted on the Routine podcast this week. Just want to add Maddie Carr.
Yeah.
Her gymnastics is dynamic, and her contributions have been instrumental to Denver's success.
So true. And I don't think it's just her gymnastics contributions, right, that have been instrumental.
That's true.
It's just the kind of force.
She's such a leader.
Yes, exactly.
Even with our interview with her and Lindsay last year, right before Nationals actually, you could tell through the interview that she was such a strong leader for the team.
Right. She was talking about what they did before meets, what they did on the bus rides and the plane rides, and what they were going to do at Nationals.
Yeah.
And they did it.
That was one of my favorite interviews that we've done.
It was. I know we've done a lot of good interviews, but I agree with that. I really enjoyed talking to those Denver gymnasts. In addition to talking about our seniors in our last episode, we also got into this controversial topic, and I don't know if we knew it was going to be so controversial.
I did.
You did? Mm-hmm. 2 pass floor routines.
Yeah, so many comments about that. The first one was from Kenty Mack. Hello, Kenty.
Hi, Kenty Mack.
Nice of you to tweet again. We've missed you. But he said, I love listening to the great conversation Christina had with Diana and Chelsea, reviewing code changes for the upcoming NCAA gym season, including 2 pass floor routines and wolf turns.
Now, he says that, but he didn't say what he thought about it.
Yeah, I was just, as I was reading that, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, that was just, I enjoyed hearing about it.
But I will not let you know my stance on it.
That would be like a perfect voicemail, Kenty Mack. Tell us what you think about it.
Yeah, follow-up comment on your comment.
We also heard from Hydrick Harden. Hydrick says, I think a 2-pass routine should require an E element and a dismount of at least D difficulty to be up to the level. If you can hear that, that's our golden retrievers. They're just wanting to make sure they're on the podcast too.
Everything has to be elevated if you do choose to do a 2-pass floor routine, in my opinion.
I agree. But you know how I feel about 2-pass floor routines, although I'm working on it.
You don't have to. I mean, that's your opinion.
Well, based on all of these comments, I'm the only one that is bold enough to say, hey.
It's true.
The one who's never done gymnastics in her life says, hey, you need to do 3 passes.
Yeah, every one of the comments said that they are okay with 2-pass floor routines. But
Right.
that doesn't mean that everyone is okay with it. It's just those who commented are okay with 2-pass floor routines.
So do you think it's that people who think there should be 3 passes are too afraid to reach out there in social media and say that?
Maybe. I would be scared, honestly.
I just said it. I'm not shamed.
Okay, Mom, okay.
But I say a bunch of silly stuff, so this is just a continuation of it. Part of the reason that a lot of folks talked about 2-pass routines being fine was about the gymnast and the health of their bodies. Mm-hmm. And so as part of that, we heard from Ashley, who says, tumbling takes a toll on bodies, but so can some dance elements, which require punching into the floor vertically. I can remember teammates who suffered from chronic ankle and shin injuries saying their dance elements hurt just as bad as their tumbling.
It's true. You need a lot of ankle strength to do some of these dance elements. And especially if you're doing leaping skills, hamstrings, it kills.
Does it?
Yeah, totally. So I completely agree with Ashley. Don't underestimate what it takes to do a dance skill correctly.
And when you say dance skill, that also includes turning and jumping.
Yeah, turning, leaping, jumping.
Are all dance skills.
Yeah.
Because when you say dance skills, I think it's...
choreography.
Yeah, and I think dancing. So yes, choreography.
And then the last comment we got about this was actually from a former Division I gymnast, Megan Greenfield. And she said, at the end of my career, we actually changed my floor routine to a 2-pass. I had 3 knee surgeries and 1 hip surgery. So for me personally, it was so helpful on my body, especially with competing every week and getting my numbers in during training. Having a 3-pass was definitely more enjoyable to do and watch, but the 2-pass was good to save my body. So thank you,
I think
Megan.
that's actually the exclamation point at the end of this.
Yeah. It's like we can think what we want as fans, as viewers, but hearing from a gymnast firsthand about what she's lived through, I mean, who are we to say?
And you did floor in college.
I did.
Would you, if you were allowed to, because I don't think any of your coaches at that point allowed you to do it, would you have done a 2-pass floor routine?
Probably not. I only did front tumbling, so I feel like that was a little bit different on my body.
Well, that's because you had the Achilles tear and couldn't do back tumbling anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like more of like my pride. It would be hard for me to only do 2 passes.
That sounds like a competitive gymnast.
I know.
It hurts in my
But I gotta push through.
And therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think those were really good comments. And I think if I had to guess, this time next year, you're going to see a lot more 2-pass routines.
I agree.
Because of all the reasons that the listeners commented about.
Yeah, and the way that the code is now set up, it's more likely for gymnasts to find a way to have their routines up to code, but only have it in 2 passes.
And why not?
Yeah.
If you're going to get the score, why not?
So thank you all for your comments. And if you still have opinions on this issue, please let us know. We actually had the chance to talk with Kayla Williams, the meet director from Elevate the Stage.
Elevate the Stage has 2 upcoming meets, going to be fantastic, but our discussion with Kayla gives you a lot more information about what's about to happen. We're excited to be joined by Kayla Williams. Kayla is the meet director for Elevate the Stage, and she's back to talk to us again about the NCAA teams that you can expect to see this year. Hi, Kayla.
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing great. We're so glad that you came back to join us. So let's talk about the teams that have registered so far. How's it looking?
I'm super excited about where we are heading into the 2020 season. Registration has filled quickly. We have a Nastia Cup qualifier that we're working towards. We have 10 NCAA teams to host in Toledo, and we have 2 to take care of in Birmingham, Alabama as well. So I've really got my hands full, but we are doing really, really well right now.
Sure. How does that compare to last year?
On the college side, we have some great programs that have worked with us in the past and want to continue to come to the meet, see the value in getting on the podium in the regular season. I'd call this year a huge success.
Talk about how I purchased tickets to go to one of the meets.
So head to elevatethestage.com to get your tickets to the college meet. And if you have any questions, you can reach me there too.
So that's a good segue to our interview this week. We've interviewed someone that helps athletes mentally be able to perform at their peak.
Yeah, so we spoke with Rebecca Smith from CompletePerformanceCoaching.com. And I actually really enjoyed this interview because it made you reflect in a way that we haven't before, very similar to how it was when we spoke with Dave Tilley. At the end of her interview, I felt like we had been through a therapy session ourselves.
And I thought that we had recovered, but by the time we finished the conversation, I felt that there was more recovery needed.
But that just goes to show how good she is at her job.
Gosh.
We only spoke with her, like 30 minutes?
Yeah, but I think it's not only what she says, it's how she says it.
Totally.
We are joined on the podcast today with Rebecca Smith. Rebecca is with Complete Performance Coaching. We talked earlier, you do listen to the podcast, so you know we talk about gymnast and mental stability and ability, all of that, all the time. So we're really thrilled to have you on the show to help us maneuver our way through this. Can you start by talking a little bit about your company?
Yes. So Complete Performance Coaching is basically, it's primarily online. We specialize in helping gymnasts primarily with anxiety, fear, crumbling under the pressure. Most of the athletes we work with, I know you guys talk a lot about collegiate athletes. We're sort of the pre-collegiate phase. And so I have a team of coaches who help one-on-one. And then we also have an online program called Perform Happy. My drive in this work is to help kids perform happy.
Sure.
And it's online courses on overcoming fear, finding flow, getting through anxiety. And then we also have live training sessions where, like a dozen kids with a mental block all come together and work through it as a group. There's just something about the gymnastics that attracts this certain personality type that has very high expectations of themselves. They are really hard workers, they're perfectionists, and they're sort of prone to being more high-strung and anxious.
Yeah.
That's the kid I was, and so that's the kid that I am trying to build a foundation of confidence in, so then they can go and do college sports, or then they can go and retire and still feel like, okay, I'm a good person and I'm doing good things in this world, regardless of performance.
Yeah, I can remember when Chelsea's, she's already cringing at me talking about her. But that's what moms do. But I do remember Chelsea at that age too, where she was, again, as you were saying, there was a lot of struggles going on in a lot of different places. But I remember talking to her principal about kind of what was going on and, the pressure with gymnastics and the pressure with homework. But I remember her saying to me, and it has continued to stick with me, and it was, help her and whatever help she needs, whether it's homework, whatever it is, because at this age for girls, it is incredibly hard. And I think she was exactly right.
But then there's also this other end of the spectrum that believes, let them fail early and often. Let them fall on their face. Let them feel that failure is part of the deal. But it's hard in a situation where you're failing repeatedly at your gymnastic skills.
So which one is more right, Rebecca, if there's an answer to that question?
Oh boy, that's interesting. Chelsea, you are a gymnast. What do you say?
I think knowing that you have people that are going to be there with you no matter what goes a long way. On the flip side, it is important to know that you're not going to be the best at everything, because whenever you get to the real world, it's a whole new life, essentially.
And I think it's got to be a little bit of both. That we want to impart a growth mindset into our kids that's going to, when they hit a wall, they go, okay, let's start climbing, instead of like, oh no, I've run out of talent, like injury. Like I know, Chelsea, you had your long road with various injuries, and then you get to the other side of it and you're like, whew, I'm stronger than I thought I was. Yeah. Okay, bring it on, life.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents are like, I gotta protect my kid. I gotta protect my kid from these horrible things. But then those kids as adults look back and go, that horrible thing was what defined me and allowed me to find this inner strength I didn't realize that I had. So I think if parents are like, do I let her fail on this one or do I not? I don't think there is a right answer, because either way, the support and the unconditional love is so valuable, and also the ability to let them live their journey. I don't think you can make the wrong decision if it's coming from a place of love.
That's such a good answer. I know we jumped right in because we tend to do that. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to start the company?
Yes. So I was a head case gymnast. I couldn't go backwards on the beam. I was the kid who shook so hard at my first competition that I got like a 5 because it was all wobbles, the entire routine. I don't even think I fell off the beam and I got a 5 because it was so shaky. I was too tall and too old and too scared, but I loved it. I ran into a sports psychologist at gymnastics camp who led us through a visualization exercise, and this skill that I had been struggling with forever, I saw it in my mind. And then that week at camp, I got up on the beam and I did it. And I was like, sold. That's the job I'm going to have. This is the most amazing, magical job anyone could ever have. And so I retired at age 14. I did not go very far in gymnastics because the fear basically ended my journey prematurely. But that experience never left me. And then I went into coaching. So I coached for about 15 years up to level 9. And then I found that the same thing was happening where these kids would get mental blocks on beam and I would yell at them and that didn't work. And then I'd be really nice about it and that didn't work. I just like buckled down in school and was like, I got to figure this thing out. You know, so many coaches who mean so well are baffled by these fears and they think the kid's not trying or they think she's lazy. You know, she's so talented. Why is she just not going for it? You know, when you're trying to go for a skill that's well learned and you just can't physically get your body to go for it, it's your brain saying there's a threat, this is not safe. And those threats come in the form of social threats. My friends might move up without me if I don't get this. So then you get all tense and your brain's like, there's a threat, this is not safe. Or I might get hurt, I've been injured before. And your brain goes, this is not safe, threat to our safety, shut down. Or I might fail. And I don't think I'd be able to cope with that. My coach might yell at me and all of those things get the brain on high alert and actually kind of cut circuit to the body so the body can't go. Once I realized that, it's like, this is not a choice. Mm-hmm. So let's help the kids to understand what's going on and then ease in and then also address what's underlying. Like, are you really trying to please somebody? Are you just so terrified of communicating that you can't let coaches know what you really need? And when we address the underlying stuff, you get your skills back, yes, but you also end up living, I think, a more fulfilling life. And a lot of the time, coaches and parents are the biggest source of stress. Sure. And so I help them figure out, okay, if you were to say something, what might you say? Would you do it in a text? Would you do it in person? Would you do it over a manicure? Like, when would be the time and what might you want to say? And I help them sort of turn their wheels about, well, what do I really want? A lot of the time, they just want to do their sport and they need to be able to feel free to fail. And if mom's like, did you get your skill? Did you get your skill? Did you do it today? Did you do it today? Which she thinks is really helpful and encouraging. And it just feels like this crushing pressure. Then we say, okay, so you're going to talk to your mom and say, Mom, please not talk about gym in the car. Can we just have that be a rule? And say, Coach Rebecca told me to tell you. That usually helps.
And as mothers, we tend to, because we know, right? But we still want to know more, right? But we know what we're doing. And so we might not say directly, did you get your skill? But it might be, so how was your day at gym?
How was beam?
Exactly. How did Sarah do on beam?
Which is an even worse question.
It's even worse, right?
Because then they're like, of course she did great and I failed. Thanks for noticing, Mom.
Oh yeah, we're so bad at this.
I know. I have this little cheat sheet of 5 things to never ever say to your kid after a competition.
Can you tell us? I mean, would you mind telling us the 5 just so that we really know?
Yeah. So number 1, do not ask about Sarah or say Sarah did a good job. Don't ever mention their competition. Don't do it. It just feels like you're comparing them. Like, oh, well, Jimmy played well today. That basically equates in an adolescent's mind to, I'm a failure. You love Jimmy more than me. I'm not doing a good job. Because kids are always comparing themselves to each other anyway, constantly. That's part of their developmental task. Am I good enough? Am I as good as you? Do I fit in? Do I belong here? And so anytime that you put any little emphasis on any other kids, they're going to really take it personally. Another one is the question, what happened?
Yeah. If you could see our face right now, Rebecca.
Oh, what happened? And they just want to crawl into a cave. And what they want is, I love you, and a hug, and food. Or so another thing not to say is, here are a couple things I noticed.
Oh, did you become the coach?
Yeah.
The coach that you aren't trained for.
Another one, then this one might be, forgive me if it hits a smidge close to home. You're so talented. The growth mindset of, I got to just work hard. I can get whatever I want if I work hard. If they're in a fixed mindset that goes like, I am talented, and then they have a hard day, then they feel like, oh my gosh, am I broken? Instead of, all right, time to climb the wall.
As a former gymnast, mental help was never offered to me in club or in college I'm just curious to know your thoughts on how essential this is, especially for NCAA gymnasts to have.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, I think at this point in the evolution of sports psychology, almost every collegiate team has a sports psychology professional on staff. I know not every team does, but it's almost every Olympic team, professional team, and lots of NCAA teams have a sports psychology professional. Not just because, people get all freaked out. That's sort of the stigma is like, oh, well, if you're one of those athletes, then you need that kind of help. Mm-hmm. But somebody like Shannon Miller said that gymnastics is 90% mental, 10% physical in competition. Training, 90% physical, 10% mental. But in competition,
it flips.
That you need to be able to drop into this state of complete self-trust where your body is free to just execute what's stored in the muscle memory. And what happens if you're thinking too much or trying too hard is that you create tension in your muscles that interrupts your muscle memory. You get twitchy and things feel weird. Even though you've done that routine 10 times in a row, stuck perfectly in practice, you get into competition and you just start making mistakes. Mm-hmm. So at the top levels, everybody's equally talented. Everybody's equally hardworking. And it's a matter of who holds it together on the big day.
Absolutely.
People who have those skills in place are the ones who can drop into it and just let their body do its thing.
It's great that some of these larger schools have that resource. It's really, I think, when you're getting at some of the smaller schools, the Division IIs and the Division IIIs, that may not have that as a resource. But like you said, it's needed. It's really needed for athletes. And it sounds like, too, what you're after in terms of your coaching is to let the athlete get out of the sport what they're trying to get out of it for themselves.
Yes, even if that means telling mom, hey, mom, stop talking about college gymnastics. It stresses me out. Can I just go be a level 9 right now? Be in it one skill at a time. That's where the peace and the joy is one skill at a time, one level at a time, 1 year at a time.
That's really life's message, right? Be in it. One skill at a time, one day at a time, and enjoy the journey. If I'm this mother that just knows that we want your help, how do we go about doing that?
So you can go to completeperformancecoaching.com, and then that'll give you access to all the information about the online program, Perform Happy, and about our coaches who we've got on the coaching squad. We also are really active on social media, so you can follow us. Just kind of look for Complete Performance Coaching on Facebook and Instagram. And we have tons of live video trainings. A lot of the coaches put out videos on recovering from injury, how to deal with mental blocks, getting ready for competition season pretty regularly. So find us on Facebook and you'll get access to all of that stuff.
Perfect. Anything else that you want to share before you leave us?
Reiterating that thing we mentioned in the beginning, you can't make any decisions wrong if they're out of love. There's no right way. I quit gymnastics out of fear, and I do not regret it because it brought me to this place in my life where I'm able to give back and help other people.
What a wonderful interview.
Yeah.
So many great nuggets.
I know, and as I was listening to you guys on your podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to have them on my podcast. We can talk to them about, the mother-daughter thing.
Anytime. Yeah. As you know, we have no problem sharing. I'm more than Chelsea, but we have no...
I don't know if that's a we. I think that's a you.
All the juicy questions are for Diana. Okay.
Yes.
Anytime. Rebecca, this has been so wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, it was so nice to meet you both. We'll be in touch soon.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Rebecca, for joining us on the show. And we actually look forward to being on your show in the future.
I think that's very true. I look forward to it. I always look forward to talking to folks about what we've learned in this sport. And if there's any advice that we can give that helps others and we can share it, I always love that.
It's interesting that you say that because the episode that we got the most comments and tweets and emails about was our episode with Dave Tilley, where we spoke more in detail than we ever have before about some of our experiences in the sport of gymnastics.
I think for us, we don't mind talking about it. And again, maybe I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah, you are speaking for yourself.
I don't mind sharing if it's going to help. And in Dave's case, he doesn't mind asking.
Yeah.
And I think in Rebecca's case, she's not going to mind asking either.
I don't think so either.
All right, so we'll prepare ourselves.
After the interview, I was like, I feel like it's going to be like the show Marriage Boot Camp, like exposing our relationship.
Or Dr. Phil.
Yeah, but it's all a learning experience. So if we can help others in the process, we'll do it.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about these upcoming meets, because season starts tomorrow, Mom.
Oh, that's nuts. That's nuts that we're here.
NCAA gym season is
I
here.
can't even believe it. But I think we're ready.
Are you?
I think
I don't think you are.
You might be right now.
Yeah, so there's actually some meets. We just can dip our toes in the water here. It's not a full-blown weekend quite yet, but there are going to be some good meets. So on Friday, Kentucky will be at Utah and Arizona will be at LSU. And then on Saturday is the California Grand Invitational, and there are going to be a lot of teams there. But just to name a few, Oklahoma, UCLA, Auburn, and Denver. So
wow, it's like a mini nationals.
Right? So if you guys are in the area, make sure you go out to that meet, because I'm sure it's going to be amazing. If I'm remembering correctly, it is the only time that UCLA and Oklahoma will be matching up during the regular season.
Okay, wow.
Should we go?
No, we can't go. But I'd love to watch it if it's going to be on TV.
I don't think it is.
Oh.
I know. What the heck?
That's
It's 2020.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. I actually got these list of meets and upcoming meets from College Gym News, which I'm very appreciative of. So if you visit their website, you can view the schedule from now all the way until April.
For more information about College Gym News, just know it's your one-stop shop for all things college gymnastics. For event coverage, leotard rankings, in-depth features, fantasy gymnastics resources, and more, visit collegegymnews.com.
And if you're interested in supporting CGN's expanding coverage, visit collegegymnews.com/donate.
College Gym News, all the college gymnastics news you want, all in one place.
So let us know what you thought of today's episode.
Do we have a question for this one?
Which meet are you looking... Oh,
we got a better one, huh?
yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
We have to do this before any meets start.
Okay.
Who is your winner for this year?
Can we do the top three like we normally do?
Sure. Are you ready for that?
Like you said, we have to do it now before we get any hints of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'll give you some time while I come forward
Okay.
here. Number one team, 2020 national champion. It's going to be Oklahoma.
You say Oklahoma.
The number two team
Uh-huh.
is going to be LSU.
Ooh.
And the number three team is going to surprise everybody, and it's going to be Michigan.
Oh. Okay. My number one...
And this is not who we say is our number one, but who we think's going to win. Okay, I don't want to get that twisted.
Non-bias here. Like,
That's
this
right.
is just flat out what we actually think is going to happen.
Well, kind of, sort of with Michigan for me. That's kind of what
But they actually, seriously,
Right.
people are sleeping on them this year.
Good.
They could be.
I'm ready.
Okay. My number one is Oklahoma. My number two, which is... No, but I don't think they're going to beat Oklahoma. But my number two...
UCLA.
No. Florida.
Oh, I forgot Florida.
Everyone forgets Florida just because they weren't at Nationals last year.
Oh,
Don't
they
leave
are
them out.
so loaded for
Right?
Bayer this year.
That's what I'm saying. I think they actually could maybe win.
Well, let's just say Florida's going to win then.
So you're changing? Again, this is fact. This isn't like what's in your heart. This is like...
Okay, I have to change it then. But you finish yours and I'll go back to
Okay,
mine.
so 1, Oklahoma. 2, Florida. 3...
Dun, 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 dun.
3 is
Well, she's,
LSU.
I was going to say, she's struggling with
I
three
know,
guys.
because honestly, and I don't even want to say this, but I don't think UCLA is going to be as strong as they were.
I agree.
And I also don't think LSU is going to be as strong as they were.
I don't agree.
But I think it's going to be between those two for third. Or it might be Michigan, honestly. Like, seriously.
Okay, I am now Oklahoma 1, Florida 2, LSU 3.
Okay, copycat.
No, I didn't copy. Did I copy?
So Michigan isn't in at all?
Not in my new one. I forgot about Florida.
Okay, well, I'll say UCLA third. You say LSU third.
We have confused everybody. Nobody knows who we...
Okay, we both say Oklahoma,
Yes.
1. Number 2, we both say Florida.
Yes.
Number 3, you say LSU, and I say UCLA.
Not Michigan.
Not Michigan. Michigan's not in my top.
Okay. So, with that said...
Let us know what
What
your top 3 is. And you have to do it before any of the meet starts.
That's
so
right.
you got to do it today or Friday. So
And if you do it after the first meet, it's okay.
But we want to know. You can tweet us. Our Twitter is @routinepodcast. You can email us at info@theroutinepodcast.com, or you can leave us a voicemail on our website at theroutinepodcast.com.
And once you visit the website, go to the episode that you're most interested in. Click that episode. At the very top, you'll see 4 buttons. One of those buttons is a voicemail button. Click that voicemail. You'll see a microphone. Click the microphone and leave us your voicemail. Happy New Year.
And happy first week of season.
Here's to 2020, Chels.
May the odds be forever in your favor.
I think you did that last year.
I did. Bye.
Bye.